Objective number 5 says, explain how electronegativity affects a bonding pair of electrons and the polarity of the bond, and also the molecule. So first of all, electronegativity is the attraction of an atom for a shared pair of electrons. So for the covalent bond. And remember, smaller atoms are more electronegative. And that means they pull the shared electrons closer to them or to their nucleus. So how does that affect the polarity of the bond and the bonding pair of electrons? Well, when the electrons get shared unequally, that creates a polar bond. So it means the electrons in a covalent bond are not shared equally. The more electronegative atom has the electrons more of the time. That means that end, this makes this end of the bond more negative, and the end of the bond where the electrons don't spend as much time, positive. So then the question is, how does that affect the molecule? Well, for the molecule to be considered polar, two things have to be true. And what polar molecule means is there is a positive end and a negative end to the molecule. Not a positive center with a negative surrounding it, or a negative center with a positive surrounding it, but a positive end and a negative end. So for that to happen, two things have to be true. First of all, there has to be polar bonds in the molecule. If the bonds are nonpolar, the molecule is not going to be polar because everything's being shared equally. And then the other thing that has to be true, I can get my screen to hold still here, is that the charge is not equally spaced or spread around the center atom. And in other words, there are a lone pair on the center atom pushing the bonding atoms to one side and making the charge unequal.